Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Power Gunner, and like many other people out there now, The Last of Us is my favorite game of all time. And a big question that has come up in this game's community is, should there be a sequel to it? Well, I am here to give you my opinion on it and just talk about what may happen if there's a sequel or if there's not one, or, you know, all that crazy stuff. And just a warning right here, this video will have spoilers for The Last of Us and its DLC Left Behind. So first off, I am just going to present the main arguments for either side. First off, for why there should be a sequel is one, that would just be more of The Last of Us. People love The Last of Us because it was done so well, and having more of that world and stuff that people just feel like it's so real and stuff would be pretty awesome. Also, like, more Ellie and Joel would be pretty cool too. Next, people want to know what happens to Ellie and Joel. Like, what happens? That ending, like, we don't really know exactly. We can only make guesses. Now, for me personally, a big reason why I would want a sequel to The Last of Us is because with the first game, which it's weird calling it the first game because it's the only game in the series of The Last of Us, which isn't even a series, but anyways, that game, for me, was something that at the time I could not afford to get because I was saving up to get a PlayStation 4 when it first came out, but that game really interested me, so I looked up people playing it and I spoiled the game for myself, and I totally regret that so much now. And then of course later, after the PS4 was out, I ended up buying The Last of Us on PS3 and then later when it came out on PS4. So I bought it twice and I absolutely loved that game, and I wish so much that it had not been ruined for me. So for me, I would just love to have a sequel to that game just to be able to experience without having it spoiled beforehand. Which, of course, that's a pretty selfish reason, but it's possibly my strongest reason for wanting a sequel. So now let's talk about reasons why maybe there shouldn't be a sequel to The Last of Us. So first off, this game is a complete story. There is nothing more that even needs to be added to the story that is within this game. Now, Naughty Dog could go and make a totally different story even with the same characters in the second game like they did with the Uncharted games, but it's always nice to have a game that's just one game, and you don't need to play any sequels, and you don't need to play it before playing the sequel, and just having one game is a very rare thing in the gaming industry, and it would be very nice to have. And then also for me, this being the biggest one, is the ending of the game is up to every player's own interpretation, and having a sequel would ruin that, because then it wouldn't be up to each person's interpretation. Instead, there would be a set canon thing that happens, and it would ruin one of the many awesome aspects of the ending of that game. So Ellie says okay to Joel at the very end. That's the last word ever said in the game. And we don't really know the whole context of what she is saying okay about and what it really means. On one hand, it could mean, okay Joel, I don't really like you anymore. You lied to me about something that was so important to me, trying to help the world out. Or it could mean, okay, I forgive you, let's just forget about that and live the rest of our lives together. Also, there is the music that is in the credits, which to me seems very much like it's inspiring us to think of what happens to them next, and not really knowing for sure. That music seems very mysterious, but at the same time very upbeat and optimistic, which it would make sense for us, after all that these characters have been through, to just want a happy ending for them. But who knows if the ending is happy. That is also, like, one other reason why maybe there shouldn't be a sequel, is because then at least we can think that they have a happy ending, even if these characters do not, because there's no way that they could make a sequel and every little thing in it, oh, they're just living their happy lives and nothing bad happens to them. Of course, bad things are going to happen to them, and that's something that, since we care about these characters so much, just don't want. So, going back to Ellie saying okay at the end of the game, here is the way that I have interpreted it. So, I think that it is Ellie accepting that Joel has lied to her, but not caring and just choosing to forget about it and, you know, just live their lives together. And just to have some evidence to sort of back up why I think this is true, this actually has to do with Left Behind and something that happens in that. So in Left Behind, the character Riley, who is Ellie's best friend and also her love interest, has joined the Fireflies, and all of her hopes and dreams are with the Fireflies and their chance to possibly save the world. But we see that Riley ends up being okay with giving that up just to be with Ellie, just because of love. So I think that in the end of The Last of Us, what Ellie is going through is very similar to with Riley, and she is probably even thinking of what happened with Riley. Her having to die to make a cure for humanity, well, a possible cure. It's not even definite that it would happen, but her having the chance to save the world basically is very, very important for her. But ultimately, I feel like she too, just like Riley, would be able to give that up for love. And Ellie is a character who has lost everyone that she loves in this world, and that is probably a big reason why she didn't really care about dying to save the world in the first place. But now she has found someone who she really loves and who will not leave her. So she probably just really wants to stay with Joel now, and that is my interpretation of the ending, and I would like to think that they have generally happy lives after the game. Just like how back with a moment that was in Bill's town, when they discover a note from, I think, Rachel, or it was to Rachel. I don't really know, but basically it was these two people. One wrote a letter to the other talking about trying to get out of town before the infection, killed everyone there and stuff. And it is unsure if they actually made it out. And Ellie says to Joel that she would like to think that they did make it out, just to have hopeful thinking. And that's sort of the same idea with me, hoping that they do have a good, happy life from here on out. And it's very cool how that links up to that moment earlier in the game.
You think they ever found each other?
How the hell would I know?
Well, I'd like to think they did.
So, as you guys can probably tell, my overall place where I stand on whether or not this game should have a sequel is no. I don't think The Last of Us should have a sequel. I think it should be left alone, and I think it is a masterpiece on its own, and it doesn't really need anything else. I feel like if there was a sequel, then what else would there be to show about this world that would matter that much, because this game did so much with already doing that, and I feel like a second game couldn't really build on it that much. But I do think that there will be a sequel, even though I don't want one, just because it is one of the best reviewed PlayStation exclusive games ever, and I'm sure Sony will want Naughty Dog to make another, and also tons of people do want another for the reasons that I said earlier. And I think that once they do make a sequel, I think that I will at first be kind of mad at them for doing that, but end up accepting it as what it is, and just knowing that they are Naughty Dog and that they can do amazing things with games, even if it does ruin one of the aspects of the ending of the previous game. There will be another great game to play through, and I will have the luxury of not having it spoiled prior to playing it. So guys, this is a very controversial topic. I have said what I think. I think there shouldn't be a sequel to The Last of Us, but you guys tell me in the description what you think of this, and tell me why you want there to be a sequel or why not. So once again, thank you guys for watching this video. Leave a like on it if you enjoyed it, and have a great day.